Hey friends, it's me, Cynthia, and this is our Sunday edition of our Magic Hour. Today I'm going to launch a new kit, and I'm going to show you all how to do the double knotting that I've shown in the past. But since the kit that I'm going to be doing today features rounds and it features some really pretty, really perfect pieces that would make a good treasure necklace, I thought the knotting, not knitting, would be a good use of these beads. So I will show it here in a second. Oh, I was going to ask Azalea when she has a moment. I wanted to show some of the things I was working on downstairs. There's a bowl of wax that I had on my tray. You want to get that for me?
Oh yeah, I'm trying to figure out.
Hello, Cecilia. My friends, hello. Hopefully everyone's having a nice, cooler time than we've had in the last few days. It's rained a lot, so now my walks, I'm knee deep in mud, which is kind of interesting. Today I had a goofy experience. I don't know if this happens to anybody else, but I was really focused on watching. I found this frog in this creek early in the morning and went on this walk, and I'm kind of embarrassed about this story. Like, the people were from Florida. I could hear them talking, but it was kind of like, you're listening. I'm in this kind of quiet area. No one really knows, but I think that no one knows of my secret creek area, but apparently everybody knows about it. And so I'm hyper focused trying to take these pictures and video of these creatures that I'm looking. I found a tadpole froglet because it had a tail on it like that. It was a great big tadpole froglet, I guess. And so I'm like trying to take a video, and these people are chatting, and I think they're in the mood for interacting with locals. And to their misfortune, they ran into me, and I was not in. Usually I'm a chatty Cathy. I'm like, let's talk, let's discuss. But at this point, I was kind of hyper focused on this, and they had this great big dog that they let for some reason off the leash next to me, and I was like, yo, don't, I'm trying to keep them from coming over here. And so at one point they're like trying to figure out what I'm doing, right? And at this point I'm being very mysterious. They're like 10 feet away just watching me, and I stand up and I'm like, and I just stare at them like a crazy person. I just stood there. I'm like, what is happening in my mind? And what I could not verbalize for some reason was, will you guys go away? I had multi tracks going on. And I just stared at them like a goofball, and then turned around, and didn't say anything, just turned around. And I could hear the lady go, okay. And I'm just like, I want to pretend like I'm in a bubble. It was so random and so weird and so unlike me. Usually I'm like, let's, look, hey, come and look at what I found, You guys want to see a really huge spider? But this time I was just like, I'm in it to win it. And I took some good video of my necklaces, so I was really happy about that. I got it where the sun was glinting. I was so pleased. It was actually this necklace I was trying to show. And it was so funny because the lady was trying to see what I was doing, but I was like dangling it. They probably thought I was so crazy because I was sitting here like this, trying to take a picture and dangling. And I had this necklace, so I'm trying to get the sun to glint on it. And if you've ever photographed jewelry, you know that jewelry is one of the hardest things to photograph because there's all these rules. They're like, okay, you want no distractions in the background. You want it clear. You don't want anything to alter the color. So I'm trying to make this look good and not like kind of shaky because I'm balanced over the creek. But anyway, I got good footage, but came off as a jerk. So,
oh well.
I know.
I don't like being
Shuri
friendly
says,
to people in the
just
woods.
tell them I'm feeling a bit froggy and I might just jump. I also, it was funny because I was like looking around for a place to pee, and I was waiting for them to leave, but I didn't want to say, hey, will you just take off for a minute? Anyway, it was my weird moment of the day where I'm like this, trying not to seem like I was super crazy. But, yeah. And I was talking to myself. I was like, I am not on my A game today, y'all. Not on it at all. But anyway, that was my my weird story of the day. And I saw their license plate, someone I knew from Florida when I was leaving. I was like, man, the Floridians are probably like, what is happening with the locals? Oh, I see my friends. Hello, Tina. Hello, Carrie. Hi, Nilda. Debbie, she says she would have fallen in. My Tiva went right in. So that's like the third day in a row that those Tivas have gotten soaked all the way through. Because it rained like torrential downpour yesterday. For like, it was weird because we drove through. It was like sun, and then like someone had poured a bucket on the car, and then it was sun, and then another stretch. I was always like, what is with this weather? Like, I know it's weird. Oh, I see. Colite says they invaded your moment and let their dog barge in. The dog tried to jump up on me. I didn't like that story.
I don't care for that nonsense one bit.
Oh, our friend Clem. Hello, Hello, Clem. It's super hot in Albuquerque. I believe it. And in Oregon, usually they've got the mildest of weather. Hello, Nilda. Yes. Hello, Kalite. Hello, Nancy. Oh, our friend June. Oh, she says, sorry, I'm here for a short time. Hello, Cecilia. You know, we watched a little bit of the Olympics when they are doing that swimming where they're all in unison. I was like, I didn't think they did that anymore. It's kind of exciting. I didn't watch it all the way through. Some of that stuff makes me feel like, I don't know, like I can't really swim. And then sometimes I'm like, these people, not only can they swim, but they can swim in unison and in like, and make designs with their bodies. I'm like, this is something else. Sure, he says, we came to South Carolina and saw the native frog woman. Yeah, well, they saw something. And that's not usually like me. I'm usually so much nicer. Usually I'm like, welcome to Asheville. Enjoy. But this time it's like,
You were locked in.
Yeah, there was a frog in my vicinity. So there was no, how do you call it? No extra. I was hyper focused. So, oh, Sheree says major hot in Oregon. That's weird. Every time I've ever gone to Oregon, it has been mild, real mild. I'm gonna flip this camera around.
I've just made the listing. We can show it now.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I wonder how everybody else is doing out there in the world, in the wide world. What's everyone been doing lately all week long? Anyone make anything good? Azalea's on the other side. Here she.
Oh, hi.
There's yeah. Greg was grilling. He grilled some shrimp, used his chili oil. I said, man, you need to make a video of you making that chili oil. We went to Marquee the other day. That's a kind of, how would you describe that place? It's like a gallery, but it's not really. They have these areas, kind of like booths. It's kind of like an antique mall. It's kind of an antique mall.
I can never remember the name for those places that like they'll have. It's one store, but you know they'll have people bring their stuff in. Mm-hmm. It like starts with a C. It's like CON something, and I can never remember what it is.
Not? I don't know that this is consignment.
Oh.
Oh, Donna says, "Hola, I'm watching on YouTube TV." You know, that's good. I haven't tried to watch it on there. I wonder what would happen if we put it on all at the same time. We'd probably get reverb. Oh, I see my friends. Hello, Tina. Hello, Liz. Hello, Linda. Hello, Debbie. She's waiting on a storm. I know the feeling. I can see the leaves. It's going to probably storm in a little bit. Ugh. Michelle says, sadly, no making until I recover from a broken wrist. Ugh,
that sucks bad.
I know the feeling of I don't know about, I've never injured my wrist, but I did jump a creek one time and slipped my foot and messed up both my knees, and now I can tell when the weather's about to turn. Mm-hmm. Clem says consortium. Is that the word we're looking for?
No, consignment was the word I was thinking of. Oh. It wasn't consignment.
Kalite says, maybe you can put on the back of your shirt, I'm looking at a frog. Don't bug me. Hey, actually, that might be good, because sometimes I cannot verbalize for some reason. I'm just standing there like a crazy person on the site. So I was pretty happy with this kit. Azalea and I were thinking of what was it we were saying? We were looking for a kit. When we were searching for the things, we were like, what are some things for abundance? And some stones that really just capture fall. And so, oh, Michelle doesn't recommend it. 2 months. That's a long recovery. Yeah, you know what? When my knees were messed up, it took me a while to recover. Like, I want to say, what was that? That was like almost 2 years ago, right? It was like 2 years, and then they're just now feeling better. So I'm going to show some of this. This is aquamarine, that pale blue. Is that right? Let me look at my notes. So this is a blend that we were trying to go with something that was for abundance and the harvest. So not just the colors, but you know, the feelings of the stones. So this is some really AAA grade citrine, which I was really happy to get. And I went through and high graded and found the most perfect of all of the rutilated quartz. There's a funny story that Azalea we were at a gem show in Franklin, was it last week or so? And the gem show, there was a guy that was selling, there's always somebody selling like this type of stone, right? This is a rutilated quartz. And there are grades where, like, this is good. This is like high grade right here. See how it's clear? This is how you look. So this particular stone was what I was looking for. I wanted this level. So I had all the hanks spread out. I had my optivisors on, and I was bound and determined to find the perfect of all those strands. And I did. I high graded all of them. So I went in and found the euphorite. That was good. Let me find that. Where's my light? Where's that little basket with all the lights and stuff in it, honey? You know that, there it is over here. I want to show it. This is such a cool thing. No, oh yeah. Oh, thank you. Okay, so you've seen this light before. This is my, let me see if I can do this without having, at the gem shows, this is like in Tucson a few years ago, they had all these tents around inside the show demonstrating this. So under UV light, these stones, and I believe they're from Michigan, euphorite. Like that's one, but it doesn't have as much flash. See, they turn this weird fluorescent under that. Here's another one. Isn't that cool? So in sunlight, it's supposed to give you like a little bit of that flash. I don't know what you call that when it fluoresces a little bit, that kind of orange. It's kind of hard to see with, I have every light blasting. I have to kind of shield my hand so some of that regular, I have LEDs. And so that's what that is. So it's euphorite. I believe that comes from somewhere, like, I want to say Michigan. I don't know. I think a friend of mine was hunting it, where the same place where they hunt for that, I can't even pronounce it, Petoskey stones. Isn't that cool? Oh, Debbie says she ordered some pieces from Vintage. Going to start making again now for fall. Took a bit of downtime this summer. Yeah, that's cool. Oh, I didn't notice that had that. So some of them, this is a type of moonstone. It has a weird flash. Kind of, yeah, I love it when I find that. Sometimes it's cool. But anyway, this blend was, oh, that's too strong. Cooperite. I think I've seen it spelled two ways. Euphorite and possibly cooperite. Greg got me a rock of it not that long ago, and he ordered it. It was like a pebble, like a big pebble. And it's in my collection somewhere. But this, I have rutilated quartz, citrine, gray, this beautiful, I found this moonstone. It was really gorgeous. It's a nice blue flash for moonstone. It's usually rainbow moonstone has that kind of, they almost have a star. Anyway, high graded those. And super good quality of sunstone. Check that out. So this is a good variety of rounds. I know some people They don't love rounds. And then some people love them. I love them. This is not going to fit in this. This is a 2-ounce tin. It's not going to fit at all. Oh, you've never seen it? Yeah, that's right. Robin says Euperite is found in Michigan. Euperlite. I guess I missed that part. Euperlite. This also has that kind of quartz that I love that has black tourmaline. So it's a black tourmaline flash in that. They kind of look milky. That's what I think I love about it.
I also have the gemstones listed in the description of the listing.
Oh, good. And there's 2 sizes of hessonite. That's that dark orange. So everything has a kind of a light gray. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. There's a generous plenty. And very flashy. I picked all the flashiest ones that had the best color flash. Azalea, when we went to the show, there was a dude selling rutilated quartz. And some of it, now I don't know what the story is, why that there's some strands that are, like, they're more clear and they're really, like, extra. And boy, do they want a lot of money for it. I was like, how much is this? And he said $480. And I did not toss the strand down, of course, because it was $480 for one strand. But I will say they were like, what would you say? That's like almost, they were almost like, they're big, like one of those great masher marbles. So they were quite a bit larger, but still, $480.
I think they were 15 millimeter.
15 mil. Yeah, but they were a lot. And so I saw that and I was like, I'm going to find some that are not freaking $480. They're
That's
still
bombastic for quartz, yeah. Imagine you get that for a necklace and you're wearing it with such pride because you have $480 and then some on your neck. And then everybody around you thinks, oh, nice glass necklace because it looks the same.
Well,
Like, please, bro. If you're going to spend that
They
amount of money,
were-
at least buy something pretty.
well, they are pretty.
Not plain.
Look at this. So they were big. This is, okay, so this comes from, these are resin. And it's really, it's kind of lightweight.
Yeah, see, looks almost the same as what
So
you got.
Azalea's
People will be
like-
oh, resin. They're not
So
gonna
I
be
bought
fancy
the whole
quartz.
necklace. This was from a dealer in Tucson I got a few years ago, where I think these are made. They don't make them anymore. He had a bunch of vintage stuff, or like, he said it was antique, but I was like, antique means 50 years. I'm pretty sure 50 years. And he was like, yeah, it's over 50 years. I was like, really? How would you know? You wouldn't really know. I mean, I guess I could find the listing on eBay, but they're really clear. I just bought it because I wanted it. I don't know what I was going to do with it. That's impulse buy. But they had those that I'm telling you about, the 480, were like this big. They were like that. That has some kind of flaw. What's this? I feel it. Some kind of sticky. But anyway, they were like that big, and I really looked at them, and I was like, I'm gonna find my version. So anyway, that's my story. So I'm gonna load these back up. I don't know, maybe I'll keep them on the board. I like scooping and bulldozing them into this. It's one of my kind of fun. We'll just pour them in here. This bowl, if you're wondering, that technique, this is called sgraffito. When you scratch out your design and, oh no, that's not sgraffito. That's called, what is that called? Some ceramic person out there that knows ceramic. What do you call this when you dig your design out and then you rub glaze into it? That technique is gonna stick in the back of my brain. What is that called? I don't know why that's called that. Oh, and then this has a corn. That's that corn bead. Made that. So I'm gonna move this over. I'm gonna show y'all how. Is that too loud? It's kind of busy. I'm gonna get a different one. Okay, this is a little bit less busy, I think. Okay, that seems It's a little bit better. All right, we'll put that. I'm going to show you how. Oh, Wendy says, you know, just the sound of beads into the bowl just makes me happy. I like that sound too. I do that pretty frequently. So if you've ever seen my treasure necklaces, that is this. I make these. I find these very peaceful to make. I love these. And I came up with, and the reason I'm saying I came up with it, because I searched for a while to figure out how to knot using 2 threads without cutting the amount of Ceylon off of the spool. I am not good with figuring out how much I'm going to need for a project, and it's always been a problem. Like, I've knotted pearls. I've used those pearl knotters, and oh, that has something on it. I've found that I don't like to cut it and then guess. You're not supposed to be guessing. You're supposed to be figuring it out. Like, you're supposed to be doing the math on that and, you know, saying, oh, 1 bead equals 1 inch of knotting. I'm sure that works, but whenever I do it, it doesn't come up the same. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just not counting it correctly. But because of that, I avoided knotting for many, many years. I did not like to knot anything. And I know there'll be several of you telling me, hey, guess what? There's a knotting tool. Well, you still have to figure out how much thread you're going to use. So you're not actually the knotting tool. While it'll help you to make a knot, it doesn't help you figure out how much line you're going to need. And by line, I mean Ceylon or S-line. Okay, I have, you know what I didn't do with these? I didn't put on this. These things are so good, and I didn't put them on there. I don't know why the cats keep going around my feet. It's intaglio, and yes, Ellen, intaglio might be the name of that. I don't know. Does that apply for ceramic? Intaglio is what I learned intaglio printmaking, and it looks just like this. It's very labor intensive though. You use a zinc or copper plate. Tina says, I think for macrame is the same thing. I can never get the length correct. Yeah, no, I don't love that. So anyway, I came up with this. I went all over YouTube, went all over the internet, and I couldn't find anything. So now if you look, you'll see that my videos are the ones that come up with this. So it's on YouTube. 2 strand. All right, so I have 2 types of nylon. You can use whatever you have that will work. Whatever will fit through your beads. Hemp, silk, cotton, wool. I don't know, any kind of thread. There's no limit. I will say that nylon does not, let me say, Cherie says, I bet if you make a knot and your largest bead and then a knot, measure and multiply by how many beads you will use plus starting and ending. That's what I did, Cherie. I did that. That's how they teach you to do it. The only thing is that your tension can change between knots, and that's where I figured out where I'm going wrong. Because sometimes you'll tie a knot, you'll tie it real tight, and it'll be perfect. But here's the thing, if you undo it, you don't know how much tension was in that one part. So if you're cutting it, you can't go back. You can add it later, but it's still, you've already cut it. So there's no take backsies. All right, so my solution to this is to string everything first. So you're not adding a bead as you go, which is traditionally the way to do it. This is how I learned from a friend of mine. It might have been Jamie Yoshida, taught me in Hawaii like 24 years ago. She showed me how to knot pearls, and we used a card of silk, and it had a built-in needle on it. I'm making a needle. This is my way of doing that. It's a little messy the way I'm showing you right now. So I've got a bead of glue. This is Fray Check. This is my all-time favorite for this purpose. And I'm gluing these guys together, right? So I'm making a needle by using 2 strands. We're going to do 2 strands here. And what I'm going to do is I might have to go over it twice. I give myself, right here I've given, this is probably 6 or 8 inches. And the reason you want to give yourself a little more is because if you have to trim off any to keep a point, then you have extra. You can always cut it off. I mean, cord's not expensive. You don't have to be frugal with it. I mean, I could see being frugal if, say, you're working with, like, silk or something really, you know, highfalutin. And even then, it's not that expensive. So what I'm going to do is I've got this held in place, and I'm going to let it dangle off the table and not dry on top of my wool. So that'll take like a minute or so to dry. And I'm going to put this back on because this is an alcohol-based glue, Fray Check. It's funny because it's in an eye drop. It's like in a Visine drop container.
Ooh.
And it keeps saying on there, may cause eye irritation. And don't put in your eye. See, they wrote that. I've never done it, but I guess it has the same bottle. So.
Cherie says, I bet if you make a knot in your largest bead and then a knot, measure and multiply by how many beads you will use, plus starting and ending.
Mm-hmm. That's traditionally how you do it. And I do that for that. And I still come up short. So this is where this comes in handy. Cherie says she has a bunch of those needled silk from 20 plus years. You know, it's good. You know, that silk, I love using it. Oh, they're called thread holders. Kate told me about them. She sent me a bunch of them. That's called a thread keeper or thread holder. And you know what else works? There are these, that's also for yarn. It's like the stuff that they put fruit and things in. What are those bags, those nets? They have them. They're like a little, like this long. And you slide the whole thing like a sock on top of your spool, and it keeps your spool from unraveling. You can also use rubber bands. These work pretty well, but they don't work that great once the thing starts to get really kind of small. Then it just kind of slides through there. Like this one. This one was getting ready. I have stored, this is for the crochet. Oh, drop that in case no one's seen it. So we just finished up, Azalea and I and Greg.
Crochet kit?
Yeah, not the kit, the directions. I made a workshop if y'all are interested to make. Let me take it off. This is making me think of it. So here's my necklace I was wearing today that I was trying to take video of. And here's one that I had started. And here is, so this is what the thread keeper does. It can also keep a hold of your stuff. So if you put it in your collection, it doesn't go every different direction. It's kind of, you know, it keeps it tidy. So it's not everywhere. So look at how I have them before. I have this and I put them in here like that. So when they're ready to go, I just, yeah, that's not, when Kate saw this, she was like, you need some thread keepers. She wasn't impressed with my
she made that face.
Disorderly look of all this. It's very disorderly. Yeah, I can tell when she's feeling disapproval. She has a very distinct look. And I was like, hey, I'll fix it. And then I did. All right, so this is a little floopy. Now, you probably noticed that I had 2 different sizes of thread. This is okay. No one will even know that there's 2 sizes of thread.
Sometimes I like it because sometimes you can get like a heavier thread that's in pink, and then I made mine with that, and then a lighter lime green.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's the right colors.
Yeah, that is one of the things that I do like. When you're mixing and matching the 2 colors, you can have the effect like, so it almost gives it a shaded. I did that here. I don't think the camera will pick it up though. I don't think there's any white. You can kind of see it here. So there's two different, like one is a kind of a light gray and the other is black. But what it does, it'll highlight your knot work and it'll look like a little bit like little beads. And this is also, the best thing about this is that it's one of the best ways to have a gap-free finish. Okay, so this isn't, it's a little, it's not as good for, I'm going to put one more coat because it sounds kind of floopy. I don't like that story.
She likes it to be strong.
I don't like, if you're making a needle, you don't want to have to fight with your needle. So I'm going to put a little bit more on there. And I'm using my ring finger and I've got a little bit, like I've got a little glue on it and I'm dragging it through there. You don't have to use your fingers. I'm just doing that because that's how I do it. Okay. And then I go over it one more time to kind of seal it and then do that. You don't want to do it too many times because then you're basically wiping off your glue. I'm going to let it sit off the edge of the table so it can dangle freely and not stick to the table. Oh, it did stick to the table leg. Okay, remove that glue. All right. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to lay out my palette. So since it is already done, that's my palette. What I'm going to do, and this is one of my favorite things to do, is I start with my biggest beads. Now, I like to make a necklace that's about, this is probably, let's say 20 inches maybe. I like to do, there's various patterns, like a rhythm pattern or color gradient. And since these have a look that's all pretty similar in tone, and in like the color family is very, like I have these aquamarines, it's kind of cool, which goes with the coolness of the euparite. See, that's how I've designed that, so that you have the light gray euparite and then you have that kind of, that aquamarine, it kind of flows. So let's see. Okay, so I want one that's one more size up, which would be this size. And you see already you've got a little bit of a flow there. And you see it's almost like a wave. So you have this small, and then it gets larger, 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 and then it goes back down, and then larger, larger, larger. I have a sample of that somewhere. Let me see if I can spot it. I don't know what I did with that. There's a box of necklaces in a tea box that I bought. So good. I think that's smaller. No, that's the same. So, let me see. I want that little bit. Yeah, I like the look of it. You could match it where they're all kind of random, or you could do a color shift. I love a color shift. See how that looks. I like the sound of that. I was really happy when I found some of these. The sunstone was super, super flashy. Look at that. That's such good grade. Happiness. What should I make? Bracelet? Kind of want to do like, I know, I was kind of like, maybe I'll get in there with these. That's the biggest one. So there's enough to make earrings. If you want to do a mala, you could do a mala, but it will have to be one where the mala has a multi-size instead of, say, instead of it being like straight size like this, is all one size. Or not, actually they're not. There's a little bit of, I'm sure, you know, Colita says, have you ever tried making a needle by putting a little Loctite super glue and on a piece of plastic, fold over and pull the needle through? It may dry faster. Yeah, I think that would probably work pretty well. The only thing is that you would get super glue. You'd have to be you'd have to approach that very gingerly. You know, you'd have to do that just right so that you weren't getting glue stuck up all over your fingers. Oh, and there's some, I forgot that there was these little itty bitties. Tiny little hessonite and little cute sunstone. I'll tuck one of those little guys in there. Okay, maybe I will go. I love how those two look together, the orange and blue. I'm going to tuck one in there on the other side of it. So pretty. I think it needs more. Maybe I'll change this one out for a gray clear. That big one. It's a little bit better. Maybe another big one. It's a little more dramatic when you put those big ones in, wouldn't you say? This is where the layout for me is where I tend to kind of get lost in. I kind of love that part of the process is the layout. Maybe I'll take that one out and do a clear down there, like something, one of the more transparent. There's one. Yeah, Kalite says the plastic is between you and the glue. Yeah, that's the theory. That's the theory. That's the thing, is that you want the glue not to touch your fingers. Am I skilled enough to drag it through and not coat my fingers? Because I have the same idea with resin. I never want to wear gloves. And guess who has resin on their fingers when they're done? That would be me. So I'll just show, I kind of just love that. It kind of reminds me of a caterpillar. Like its segmented body. Let's just do that for now. What time is it? 3, we've been going 36 minutes. It's not too bad. I was like, maybe I'll have time to take a walk. Another walk. Okay, so that was not even a few minutes, right? That's not bad. That's pretty stiff. If you can manage to wait a few minutes, it's not bad. So I'm going to trim this to make it sharp. And now I'm going to string it up. This might be enough for a bracelet, I think. Just do enough to illustrate this. And you know how I like the bead holes to not be miniature. So for knotting, I try to find the largest holes possible. So you can rest assured if you get a kit and I say it's for knotting, I've already checked. They'll fit. Or I'm not going to put them in there because it drives me to distraction to have to sit there and fight with my bead holes and thread. I was thinking about making a workshop for this or written instructions. I've had a few messages asking if I have that, but I don't. I just have them on these live videos. So that's another thing on my things to do. Hey, would you mind getting that tray of waxes I wanted to kind of show? It's not a tray, it's a wooden flat bowl on my bench.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, these just easily, I could have actually gone in with with almost the same size thick cord, the S-Lon or C-Lon. I don't know if that's a trade name or what. I feel like it's two different brands, but it's the same, pretty much the same thing. One of them that I found nylon, like a nylon is kind of twisted, and I don't know what brand that is. I think that's just called knotting cord for macrame. But a lot of times they won't have, when I'm purchasing them, I go and get them in Tucson at the, what they call the gem mall. And it's pretty crazy because it's like these huge, it's like the biggest shows, but there's like 3 of them right next to each other. It's like the size of a football field. Let me see, is that the one? Let me see, that looks like the 2 the same. Make good earrings, a lot of these. Okay, I'm almost at it. That's next. Yes, thank you. I was going to talk about that. I'm almost ready to knot. We'll see. Sometimes you can do sections of knotting and then add it to something else like chain or other kind of beading. Okay, so that's what I have so far. Isn't that pretty?
That is really nice. You did a good job.
It's a good flow to that. Alright, so when you knot this way, you have to knot everything first. So you kind of have to plan out your beads, and when you plot them, then you can get kind of, then you kind of have an idea of how many you're going to need, but you're going to have to put them all on. You can't, that's the disadvantage, is that if you do it the other way where you pre-cut, you can keep adding until you run out. This way, you have to add all of them that you're going to use. You don't have to use them all. Like, I strung way more than I needed of this. These are sapphires. I strung all of them. And then I was like, oh, well, I'm happy with the size of my necklace. So I just set it aside and then put it on there so I could make another, add to it and make another necklace. Okay, so after you have your first, you leave yourself your tail. You don't cut your tail off. The reason being is you're going to add a clasp later. Or if you don't add a clasp, say you want to put it with another pendant or link or something. So give yourself, I give myself like 8 inches or more. That's actually closer to 10. But like I said earlier, you can just cut off what you don't need, but you can't add to it if you need to add. Well, I mean, you can add it with adding a link or something, but you're going to have to cut it, So the first thing you do is just a regular overhand knot. And this is the end with the needle. Now this is why the 2 strands are useful. So once you have your first knot, divide it up, divide those threads, and then pull. You see that little action? Pull. Okay, slide your bead down. Just like so. And I get in there and look, boom, test that. That's not pulling apart. There won't be a gap. So this is where it's tricky for some people. This part kind of throws a lot of people off. So I have it like almost like this bead is a head and this is its neck. Now I've got a hold of its neck. So you have the thread under here. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to put that whole head through the hole here, see? And pull all of it through. And then I'm holding on to the neck. And I'm pulling from this side so I don't have to use a tool. No all necessary. No necesito with that. And I'm getting close up to its neck. And then I'm not going all the way. But look what happens here. I don't even have to get up all the way. I could just get there. And look what happens. There you go. Is there a gap? No gap. You can even tighten the heck out of it. One thing you want to avoid with necklaces like this is you don't want to have, if you have beads with very sharp holes, it could fray your thread. So kind of look out for that. Oh, I see that our friend Sonia is here. Hello, Sonia. It's out of Pennsylvania. Robin is talking about the Gem Mall. That's where we went, to Gem Mall. I don't remember what tent the cord is at, but you have to buy a lot of it. Okay, so there's another knot. And once you get pretty fast, you'll go quick. You'll just, you'll be cooking along. You won't even have to hardly watch what you're doing, although I do. But as you can see, if you tighten between and stretch kind of, like you're not trying to make it as hard as you can so you pull it apart and make a mess out of it. Not that you would. I mean, you'd have to have like super strength to do that. Okay, pull one down. Grab it by the neck. Under. Make a loop. Pull all of them through. And I'm holding that loop so it doesn't go way back here. I don't want to have to chase it around. I don't want to chase my knot. So right up against its head. And see, it's not even tight. I don't have to tighten it. Where, you know, where that tool, that pearl knotting tool, you need to get right in there and tighten as close as you can. This, you don't need to. You can just get kind of far back. This I find is a very satisfying and easy project to do when I'm traveling, or, you know, because it's, you can keep it. You can do it on a plane, especially if you pre-load all of your things and you just have them ready to go.
God, it's perfect.
It's so perfect. The only thing is you have the little balls of fray check. So you can see there's the loose knot. I split it and then pull the legs apart just like that. Debbie says, I'm dying to learn this technique. Debbie, get your cord out. Go along with me. Grab it by the neck. Pull under here. Under. Twist. And drop the whole bunch of heads. Beads. I'm calling them heads. Maybe make it memorable. Drop them through that whole loop. I put my thumb in it so it doesn't, like if you just let it free for all go through like that, it'll be close, but it won't be as close as if you hang on to it. And it's still a little loose. You just pull these just like this. And I'm going ultra slow. I'll show you when I'm cooking with gas. Oh, Debbie says she's going to do it. I'm excited to see it. Drop it in the Greengirstudios group. Which, by the way, I'm seeing a lot of good work in there. Azalea and I were looking, we were like, man, is it going to be tough to choose? Not that we're choosing. It's going to be y'all choosing for the contest. Pat, I keep the needle because what if, Pat, what if I want to add more? So I keep it long just in case I want to add a few more beads, or I might want to put a clasp on there or a link or something. You can always trim it off, but you can't put more on once you start knotting. That's why. Move it down. Oh no, Cherie, they're all strung. They're all strung. There's no chasing to be done.
Yeah, the beads are not loose. They're already strung up on your thing.
I take this. I have this thing I got from my friend from Ezel Findings. Y'all might remember Sun. Azalea's new mom. Azalea loved Sun with all her heart. We were at the New York gift show. And she said, I want Sun to be my mom. And I was like, Sun, you've just adopted a new gal.
That was crazy.
That was fun.
I was like 5.
So I was like, I was 5. But Sun gave her treats. So this is the thing here. It's from Ezel Findings. I don't know if she still makes these. But I take this with me on all my trips. See, it's Ezel. E-Z-E-L. And I have it flipped now to be my bead board. Mrs. Felted. Ah, Gwen. She says, hi, Cynthia and Azalea. Looking forward to seeing you in Fresno in a few days. That's in like 10 days. You gave me a little bit of that fear.
It's less than 10 days.
Okay, almost. Okay. All right, listen. It's not a few days though. It's more than a few days, thankfully, because I have some things I'm working on. And y'all are going to love it. We're going to Fresno. We're going to see Kate, Chris, and all our friends at the bead retreat. Very exciting times. I've been working on the demos. I'm going to be showing this there, of course, because there's always someone that wants to see it. This is a very quick demo, but I will be bringing this. I will be bringing some color theory type demonstrations, possibly some things for UV resin. We'll see what I can fit in the suitcase. That's what we're on now, is what will fit on the suitcase. But I've been making new things. It's all good. It's all exciting. I'm going to have some finished jewelry to share. You know, we're probably going to do some lives. Last time we did live events when we were in Fresno, and they were a hit. We had so much fun. You know, it's fun when you have your friends at, you know, when you're surrounded with your friends. It's so fun. Now, here's what I have so far. You can imagine using sections of knotting as if you were, you know, Sundance catalog, they're not afraid to use sections of different techniques. Which, by the way, that brings me to Friday at 8 o'clock Eastern time. We have another Sundance party. So if you guys are not, you know, out partying Friday night, hey, you never know. Some people like to go out and you know, I don't know what the folks are doing. It's not me going out. If I'm going to do anything, it's a game night. But I'm not going to be going anywhere hunting for parking, that's for sure. So, anyway, Friday night, 8 o'clock, if you want to watch. I think Abby Berta will be there. Softlex is definitely going to be there. So, maybe Kristen showing some fun things, techniques, Sundance techniques. And if you guys don't know what Sundance catalog, go to Sundance.com and go order their catalog because they have a really cool catalog. It's like, I've been getting it for, I don't know how long now. I don't know. Since 1969. I haven't been getting it that long. But I've been getting it a long time. And it's funny. I was like, is it just me or does Sundance increase? It's like, it's always expensive now, no matter how old I get. Like I thought at some point, hey, this is going to be affordable. I have not reached that point yet where I look at it and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go order this necklace. It's always kind of expensive. I'm sure it's all, you know, but when you make jewelry, that's a thing. You get to where it's hard for you to buy it, especially if you can make it. So anyway, that's it. I have to think, oh, here's a learning moment. I was what do you call it? I was too over enthusiastic. I flew too close to the sun and I got right here, we call it a learning moment. Look at that gap. I know it's unsightly. We will fix it. And the way to do that is you find yourself an awl. That's the fancy word for a sharp, pokey type thing. You don't want it too sharp because you don't want to shred the cord. So let's see what I have that's not too pokey. This is, look, I got this. This is absolutely going to shred that cord. So this is a no. And this is a yes. Oh, Pat says, I used to cancel dates if I got new beads that day. Oh, I know the feeling. It's time. Okay, I'm going to try and do this where you can see it. Maybe I'll put my finger here. Okay, so if you're too far away, don't tighten. That's I gotta put my optivisors. They're not in here, so I'm gonna have to kind of wing it and stick the pin through the loop that you can get into. So in this, it's like the underhand part, and then very gently pull the threads apart, and then get in there as soon as you make the loop, or you open up the loop. I don't have any fingernails, I cut mine short. But with my millimeter length, I can get in there and see, that's enough. It's enough for me. It's all I need to do this. See, you just need that small amount, just like that. And then grab the two legs of the thread and pull this way. And there you go. Now, if you make a big gap and you don't catch it, you either have to live with it, which would be impossible for me, or you have to cut it. So don't, or you just live with it. You know, it's entirely up to you. I can't live. I would not be able to stand it. If there was like a big gap, I'd be like, nah. We got to do something about that. I'm not like a perfectionist, but I was like, I don't know if I would agree with that statement. Sometimes I can be a little bit of a perfectionist. But see, when you put your finger here and you have it's guiding the thread not to go anywhere. So then if I open it with enough room, Pat says, could you macrame over it? Yeah, but you still, I mean, you'd be better off just cutting it and doing it, because trying to macrame a little, you'd be better off trying to wire wrap on top of it. But you can't go back in and try and at least I have not figured a way. Maybe there's a way to do it, but at this junction, I don't know how to do that. Yeah, there you go. What do you think of that little extra? I think that's stuff. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Some folks can leave it. I can leave a dropped stitch in knitting all day long. I'd find a way to fill it, then eventually take it apart. You know what would work is those bead covers. You know those split bead covers? Have you ever seen those? That would work. Because then you could take one of those, and it's kind of like a Pac-Man type thing, and you could squeeze it over, and no one would know your secret, that you have a big gap. That's what's covering it. But then every time you saw it, you would be like, I know what's underneath that bead cover. Ugh, that one I didn't tighten so great. See that? The way to get around it is just to pull it. Let's see if I could do it. Now, the drawback to using two different thicknesses is sometimes you'll get where the thicker one will get wound around the smaller one, and you get a move like that. The way around that is to loosen it up a tiny bit. Let's see. That kind of got a little bit, when I tightened it a little too prematurely. Okay, so I've loosened it. Now let's see if I could slide that a little bit apart. No, it doesn't want to. Of course, that's on my, what is it, my last two beads. Oh, let's see. Robin says, I've used the bead covers. Yes. Exactly. I have two more left, and of course, at the very end, I have one of these where I have to deal with this. So I went ahead and I tightened prematurely without noticing. And usually I check before I tighten, but this case I was a little over enthusiastic. So if that happens, you just have to wiggle it, just like you're seeing me deal with right now, and use your handy dandy safety pin and get in there and open it up. Azalea and I have been having fun talking about the different things we're going to demo when we're in Fresno. And there's so many things to choose from. At this point, we're like, I wanted to do kind of like a watercolor thing just for fun. And we're working on what's going to be in the swag bag. We're putting that together. And I'm making finished jewelry. Because for some reason, I sell a lot of it when I'm out in California. This is the tedious part if you make a mistake, is trying to loosen everything up, especially if you tighten the way I do. I'm tightening it like my life depends on it, so it'll take me a minute. This you got to be careful with. I don't have my optivisors on, so I can't see just how aggressively I'm poking at this. You don't want to go too much and then end up fraying the heck out of your thread. But I want to tuck in that loop. I don't love that loop being grande, but I can feel it getting looser. There, I loosened it up, and now I can kind of pull the big thread. There we go. Debbie said I would love a live workshop. You know, I teach this class sometimes at Cherry Tree. We've taught it a few times. Oh, Arena. Cherie said she watched a class from Arena M, and I still have to do a long wrap bracelet twice. So glad I'm learning from you too. Oh, good. Well, Debbie, I don't know where you live, but occasionally we do live action classes. Not very often, but occasionally. Sometimes Cherry Tree will host us, or Chevron. We haven't done a class at Chevron in many moons. I used to travel all the time teaching classes. I'm happy to be going to Chevron. I mean, not Chevron, to Fresno. Oh, Virginia Beach. My cousin lives there. And I have a friend that lives out that way. Maybe you know LaFay. She's in Virginia Beach. Okay, tightening up that last bit. And there you go. That's the last of it. Only 2 times did I have to pick it. If I'm really watching, I don't ever have to pick it, except for maybe once. And that's if I'm busy yapping, as Azalea says.
I don't say that you yap. I say that I yap.
I don't know if they held Chuck. It was a long time ago when it was Deborah that owned it, Wendy. I don't know if they have it now. I'm sure they do. It'd be silly not to, right? So look at that. It's bracelet length. Perfect. Get out of the way there. This is a bracelet I bought at a gallery. It's a really fancy gallery in the Mission District called Fiat Lux. This is from Margaret Cross. Look what the secret is on the inside. Isn't that cool? Has 2 little hidden skeletons. I was almost about to say Skeletor. I think they do teach, Wendy, but I don't know what their show schedule. How many inches is it? Let's see. Where's my handy dandy? Let's see how long that was. So this one is about 6 inches and a little over 6 inches. Line up, you. And then once I put the clasp on it, it'll be around 7, which is a pretty standard bracelet size. I think that looks good. And you know, that has that look of those highfalutin, expensive, rutilated quartz. The ones we saw in Tucson were like this, but they had hair-fine rutiles. That strand, it was this color. These have hair fine, but see, the one that makes it not that hair fine is right there. See, it's like 2 millimeter. The ones that have, where you can't even hardly see them and they look like hairs, that strand was like this size at 680. We were like, holy cow. That I thought it was going to burn my hand. Anyway, there you go. All right, I'm going to flip this. Oh, shoot, I almost forgot this. This is what I've been working on. So, remember this thing? I've been making these guys. It's so much time. I don't know how much I'll ever charge for it to get my money out of it, but boy, it's been a lot of time. So I'm making the links. So, you know, I like a cast link. Debbie says, it's stunning. How many beads are left in the kit after this bracelet? All this. Didn't even get to this. And there's all those smalls at the bottom there, too. See that? You actually get quite a bit. If you were to buy this, the things that were expensive in here were these citrines. Those were good. That's triple A grade because of the color and the clarity.
Bright
and
yellow.
They're super, super bright. The Euperite was not a cheap date. And also, I sprung for I think this is pretty good. Like, that's aquamarine. There's no glass in this set. It's all gemstone. Hessonite garnet. All different kinds of, the sunstone. Super nice. And what was that? What was this one? There was a trade name for that kind of, when the rutilated quartz has the red in it. I can't remember the name of it. Okay, so these are the links that are going on that. And I have another one. It's going to have a bunch of links. I'm hand carving them. And see, I'm adding this here to it so I can dingle dangle gemstones. So that's what's going on with that. You can almost picture it. Like you could dangle. See, there'll be a dangle there. Or this is probably better size. Small. Whoop, lost that one too. Oh, and look what I did here. I painted this to look like gold because I wanted to see the vision of how my things would look cast in gold. This is that teeny tiny frog. Is this on the website, Azalea, the teeny frog? It's got a little, this is pewter, but I used those vintage paints and Pearl X pearl powders, or Pearl X pigment powders, and I mixed it with the paint to get this gold. And then look at on this side. Doesn't that, I mean, it's not exactly gold. I mean, it's more gold than brass or bronze or whatever that one is. Oh yeah, I think it looks really good in gold. Wouldn't that be awesome in 18 karat? I was trying to imitate 18 karat. So that's what that would look like. That was one of my experiments to see. Oh, here's my magic. I went in and massaged this for a little bit. You know how I roll. Where this has been, I've been working on this same crochet hook for about 6 years. Actually, it's probably closer to just 4.5, but you know, felt like forever. This, I did this last week. I'm almost ready to cast it. And this one was from, I'm almost ready to cast, well, not ready to cast. This is a little red panda. This is on my to-do pile that I've been working on all week. A new clasp. This one, look at this. That'll be a little fish. And this is kind of a pond. I'm going to make it like some coral or something to go with this. This is a coral reef. So this is a set I'm working on. My goal is to punch it and be done with it and have it like expedited out to Fresno. Greg will have to send it separately, but hopefully I'll get it. This is going to be a coral reef piece. Thank you. It's being nice. This will be a nice one for the knotted. You know, you can almost picture it. Let's picture it with this and see how it looks. It did look small. Pretend like that's coming down. Yeah. With the fish. Fishy, fishy. It'll look good. And you can imagine it like this. Robin says, what's going on in Fresno? Well, we're going to see Kate. And we're going to do a bunch of live things for the GBE. And also, we will be traveling together for the beadshop.com bead retreat that's taking place there. I am fairly certain it is sold out. Oh, almost forgot this little nug. This is the whole reason I brought this. Oh, and then this, look at this. This is coming in. Azalea, Lisa says, please post the link to the kit again.
Okay.
Yes, she's on it. I actually did not mark that, like, I had to put a discount on it. I don't know if Azalea showed that, but I did not mark that out, like the full amount that I would usually mark it, because,
I marked it
you
at
know,
110.
this, if you bought it retail, with all the strands, with everything, I was kind of like, I don't know if people are going to buy it, because to me, I thought it was kind of high, but that is with, I have some things I get a very special discount, so from some of my vendors, and if you were to buy that outright, I would put that, if you bought all the strands, would be over $300 easily. So this is a kit I'm working on now. Could be an earring, but see how it has 4 little holes? It could be a 4 multi-strand. I'm working on that. Or earring, 'cause it's kind of, I hollowed it out in the back. That's what I'm working on. And then here is the, I don't know how impressive this is. It doesn't look very impressive, but I'm making a little charm. I'm making 5 of these with a sapphire. I had a sapphire all picked out sitting here, but it's buried under something on there. But this is going to be part of the prize. I'm going to make 5 of them with sapphires. That's what's going to happen for the contest. And we will be announcing that contest winner in Fresno while we're there. So in the group, there's a post that gives all the rules. You might have to scroll back a minute. Or I think there's a search. Is there a way to search that?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. I'm going to flip this around.
It's time. It's time for your outro, son.
It's time, my darling. There he is, the recovered boy, the child. He is recovered. No crystals. But he's been sleeping off all the antibiotics. He's been on antibiotics for like, well, not still, but he was. He lost some weight. It was a good thing. Lost a few pounds. But he is feeling a lot better. Thank you, everyone that purchased our crochet workshop. That's what paid the vet bills for this guy. And now, come to find out, I've got to get his teeth done because they are apparently covered with plaque, and they have to go in and they put him to sleep. Not put him to sleep, but you know what I mean.
Anesthesia.
Anesthesia. There it is. So anyway, thank you everyone that contributed to Marty's well-being.
He's big.
That was a real blessing because guess what? My gutters were falling off the house, and I was like, everything's happening at once. So it was a real delight to be able to pay that and not have to put that on a credit card. All right, friends, that was a lot of fun. I hope that was useful and that you will get your beading things out and you'll give it a whirl and then post it in the group so we can see all of it. All right, we will see you on Wednesday. I've got something fun planned on Wednesday. Probably I'm thinking about watercolor or a color theory class, and we have something going on Friday, the Sundance, 8 o'clock Eastern time. So if you're not doing anything, you don't have, game night or whatever, join us. It's going to be a few of us, and it's in kind of a party style Zoom type situation. So it'll be recorded if you can't watch it live. And there's always something fun going on with it. So you'll see a bunch of different techniques. It's worth it for all the free, inspiration and content. So, and also on Sunday, 7 o'clock. All right, friends, thank you for joining us. We had a wonderful time, and we love you out there and hope that you all are creative this week and have a wonderful rest of your week. Oh, Clem says, when's the Zoom? We haven't posted that. I'm hoping next week somebody do a Zoom post or a post about it so we can get some times. All right, friends, I'll see you later.